app, iHeart, and now on radio.com.
It's a calling that's kept us free. It's a place to belong. What's the calling? Being a member of the Air Force Reserve. It's doing a job that makes a difference, serving your community and your country. It's part-time service where the impact is full-time. What's your calling? Air Force Reserve. To find out about local job opportunities with the Air Force Reserve at Homestead Air Reserve Base or Patrick Air Force Base, call 800-257-1212 or go to afreserve.com. This message is sponsored by the Air Force Reserve, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
AMP2.TV presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on amp2.tv. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
All right, welcome back to Tell Us Your Biz. I am your host, Gene, also known as Slick, and alongside me I have...
Hi guys, my name is Bianca, also known as Queen Bee. You can call me that, if you feel like it. I know a lot of you are like, who is this beautiful girl? No, I'm kidding. Who is this strange girl on TV? My name is Bianca, as I said. I'm an intern, and I just started today, and I am feeling very welcomed by this lovely group of people. So thank you for having me, Slick.
How do you like your first day?
I actually love it. I am incredibly comfortable here. I think that everyone is very kind. I think I'm going to learn a lot, and I think that this is an experience that is very unique, and I know that a lot of kids would do anything to be in this position, so I'm very grateful, and I really hope that they can teach me a lot.
Because honestly, on your first day, you are getting to interview alongside me the madam, the miss, the legend, Miss Dr. Laura.
Yeah, Dr. Laura.
Is now entering the I can't say now entering the building, but we are virtually entering the building with Miss Dr. Laura, psychologist, author, speaker. How you doing, Dr. Laura, and how is your day today? Just to keep it brief.
Wow.
Yeah.
First of all, I feel like I should get up and enter the building.
Because I feel like, because every time you come in, your presence just I just feel calm.
Fills the whole room.
Most definitely.
Well, I want to say welcome to Queen Bee, first of all. So I guess we're supposed to break you in tonight. Is that really what the deal is?
It's not about me today. It's about you.
It's about you today, because I would want our listeners to know that are driving this evening a little bit about what you do, and just a little bit about what you do and how's your books going, because you have several books out, and your motivational speaking. I just want to touch upon some added phrases that you have told me that I want to brush upon for the people that are listening in the vocal area.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you guys for such a warm welcome. I'm really touched. It's amazing. So it's kind of interesting when you're in the business of people, because there's this level of respect, right? That has to come from the idea of being compassionate to somebody else's story, recognizing their pain and helping them shift to a different mode of being, right? So, it's a business, but it's a business involving people, and I never lose sight of that fact that at the end of the day, what I want to know when I have gone to bed at night is, have I touched somebody's life, and is somebody a little bit better today because of something that we've done? Whether it's a phrase, whether it's a word, whether it's a memory that they've brought up, that to me is really the most important thing. And that's what gets me going every day.
And
what a good person.
No, to be honest, she has visited us before, and I have to say, our conversations are brief, but I have to point out key points that you have told me that kind of have me jumping over these hurdles. But one question for the hurdles that keep coming back: How do you avoid those hurdles that just keep coming back?
That is a great question. So what I normally say to people is, if you have been doing the same thing over and over, banging your head against the wall, and you're still getting the same result, then it's time to do something different. So it might not be that the hurdles are hitting you the same way. It might be if you change your perspective a little bit, or change the way you address it a little bit, or pick up the red flags earlier, you might not even get to that hurdle. So it's even just like a minor shift.
Oh, I was gonna say like say la vie, like as in like the way you're saying is kind of like if something's not working, try it a different way, or just don't try it at all.
Try a different way. Sometimes it's not doing anything, and I think you bring up a really good point that sometimes people come into therapy, or people come into counseling or coaching or whatever, and it's like, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this, and then I say to them, stop trying. Just like for a few days, just don't do anything. Because if you're looking at it from a more energetic universe kind of perspective, the universe picks up on anxious energy. And people pick up on that kind of energy. So if you're pushing things and you're urging things, that kind of pushes people away. They feel the desperation coming from you, rather than the confidence and the security that it's all going to work out.
Okay. And how can, like, I know therapy becomes taboo, like where I come from, because, you know, you don't go to a therapist, you tend to like hash it out with your friend or your family. How can like somebody that is in need of therapy but doesn't know can reach you?
So, I mean, people can reach me in all different ways. You can, you know, call me, you can text me, you can reach me at my website. You can text me at 516-635-6186. But one of the things that I really want to tell people is, you can call it therapy, you can call it coaching, you can call it life guidance. People are afraid of therapy because in our country, we're afraid of having emotional issues. But in our country, there's also a disconnect between the mind and the body. They're two separate things in our culture. You go here for your mind, here for your body. And people forget that we're just integrated. So while we spend a lot of time taking care of our bodies, why shouldn't we spend that much time taking care of our minds?
True, because I do try to get, you know, I know Freddie and Don can tell you, like, I've been through this workout regimen that I'm trying to get jacked over the summer.
You look a little jacked.
But, you know,
Look at you go.
It's okay.
Go!
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I have to admit it to myself that I'm just scrawny. Hopefully the the protein that I am drinking is gonna bulk me up, but like I had to face the facts that I don't think I'm gonna get any bigger.
Really? You don't think so?
I don't think so, to be honest with you. But Dr. Laura, how long have you been Dr. Laura, as in, I'll say PhD, and has it been like before? Has it been before you went to school that you knew that you were going to help people?
Ooh, that's a great question. So originally, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a teacher. So I would play hours being a teacher. But I found out that when I played teacher, what I really wanted to do was just hang out with the students and talk. And as I got a little bit older, you know, the stories that I was always attracted to are ones of people who were in trouble, reached out for help, and got on their way. So originally when I went to college, I went in as a theater major, because that's my second love, is doing theater and acting and performing. And I had decided, you know, whatever class I take that doesn't feel like work, that's how I know that's my soul's purpose. And I took my first intro psychology course, and I'm like, this is it. I was just totally into it. I was like a dork. I read like 20 chapters ahead of everybody else. But I knew that I had found what I was going to do. And then over the years, it's just kind of evolved into, what else can I do? The world is changing. How can I change? How can I reach more people? How can I help in a different way? And so this is the Dr. Laura you're seeing now, who's really different from the Dr. Laura of 20 years ago.
Okay.
What would you say that the biggest difference is? Like, what is the, like out of a dictionary, what is the difference between a psychiatrist and a therapist?
So a psychiatrist is someone who prescribes the medication.
Okay.
So originally, way back in the day when Freud was around, they were all pretty much psychiatrists or psychoanalysts. They were the ones who did therapy. Psychiatrists did medication, and they did analysis, which was Freudian kind of therapy. As we've gone along, we found that, it's split. Psychologists do therapy, they do assessments, they do testing, there are school psychologists. What's interesting is psychologist is a title that's regulated by the state. Anybody can call themselves a psychotherapist. Slick. You can put on a different hat, put a sign on your mailbox, call yourself a psychotherapist,
Seriously?
and it's legal. Yeah,
okay.
but only certain people can use the title psychologist.
Okay. For diagnosis, because you touched upon that. Have you ever diagnosed a case before to the point that you had to actually diagnose this person either this workout regimen or this routine so they can have an abundant living?
Absolutely. So part of what we do in an initial session is when I'm seeing somebody, I'm doing a full assessment of body, mind, and spirit, because that's sort of my approach, and you can't separate one from the other. So a lot of times, we're looking at differences in diagnosis in terms of, is this depression? Is this anxiety? Is this post-traumatic stress disorder? Is it a combination? Does someone need medication, or would they just be okay with therapy? Is there a possibility, and it happens, is there a brain tumor? Is there something else going on that's causing this besides just they lost their job or whatever? It's people don't understand the amount of brain science that we actually have to learn.
Okay. I just honestly, I have to touch upon the fact of these cases. Have there been cases of no solution? Because there has to be a solution to something. Have you ever reached a roadblock with a person and never got across that threshold? And how did you get past it?
Yeah. That's a question. There are some people who get stuck.
Are they doing it on purpose? I'm sorry.
Sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes they just don't know a different way. Let's say, for example, people who grow up in homes early on where there's so much trauma, they don't know any better. So I always tell people when they're trying to live a healthier life, it's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It feels weird. And so sometimes they may take one step forward, 2 steps back. Or 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And for some people, not a lot, but for some people, therapy and medication becomes a long-term thing because we're looking at maintenance rather than maybe a cure, so to speak.
Okay, for our Tuesday motivation, I'll have to point out the fact of the 3 points that you have on your website, which is wellness, abundance, and love. And why do these words stand out to you?
Well, as we talked about, the mind, body, spirit, I think, is really important. We can't separate one from the other because we're all whole people at the end of the day. Abundance is, when you have a lot, whether it's emotionally, financially, love-wise, whatever, you want to spread it and you want to share it to other people. So I'm hopeful that everybody has their own abundance and that they create their own abundance, and everyone should have an abundant life. We all deserve that. And of course, when you feel love, you want to give love. And when you give love, you get it back. And it feels really good. And we don't do that enough.
But reality, yeah, no, you're right about that. But reality, I have to say, you can give love, but I'll say majority of the times you never receive that love back. How can someone, cope with that, not receiving that same type of, that basically the same feeling back?
Right. So my question back is, so what? Right? You can give love with the expectation of I'm giving because it feels good to give. If you're giving with the expectation of getting something back, yeah, you're definitely going to be disappointed. And not everybody can give love. They can't.
True.
But everybody can probably accept love.
I probably overthink it because I'm the one that's like, sheesh. I mean, I wasn't expecting nothing besides like, just basically like a gesture. So, I mean, I'm going to take that into good note. But can you progress even though you're being stagnant? Is there a progression in stagnant, like being on a plateau?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 1% shifts.
How is?
Right?
I'm surprised because I'm thinking it's a hard no, to be honest, because you're stagnant. But go ahead.
1% shifts. If somebody is stagnant, this is where you do the out of the box creative thinking, right? Because obviously the traditional stuff isn't working. So this is where I get a little creative with someone. Maybe we go outside and we do a session in an art studio. Maybe we take a walk. Maybe I give them like this crazy brainstorming exercise to do. So one thing I've been doing with my clients a lot that they really like is when people are stuck, I tell them brainstorm. Just write everything on paper and use your dominant hand. So for a lot of people, it's their right hand, right? So I go, just write down everything that you're thinking about. Take that list, put it aside. Now ask the same question of yourself and use your non-dominant hand. And write everything down using your non-dominant hand.
Can't do it.
Because it triggers a different area of the brain. And you will get totally different answers.
Okay. I'm going to try that, but yeah, you're right.
So while we're on this topic of love, what would you say to people who think that they don't deserve love?
Yeah.
I'm so sad. I'm so sad because everybody really deserves love. And let's also look at what the definition of love is. I mean, I may not run up to some stranger in the middle of the street and like hug him and be like, oh my God, I love you so much, right? But it's like, let's say somebody in the grocery store drops something and they're struggling. If I just bend over, pick it up and give it to them, isn't that a loving gesture? Right? So I think we need to expand our definition of what love is too. People get so caught up in what the definition is. And it's also a self-esteem thing. I always say to people, why do we say things to ourselves that we would never say to our own child?
Ooh.
That's true. We never say to
right?
a friend.
That's dicey.
Right.
Yeah, that is.
Right. If you look at a little baby, or if you look at a little puppy, right?
Puppy.
Would you ever say, yeah, they don't deserve love?
Oh, no.
Right. Right. So why do we look in the mirror at ourselves and say we don't deserve love? We started in that place. Okay, maybe we didn't start out as puppies, but we started out as babies, right? So we still have that innate piece in us, and somewhere along the way, we just get lost.
I think it's just easier telling ourselves, like, you don't deserve love, or you're weird, or you're gross, or, like, no one's going to love you back, instead of actually going into the problem of, like, okay, like, what about me? Like, do I really love her? Like, what about me is really pushing people away?
Correct.
Fear.
Of, like, not finding the right person or something? Is not finding the right love?
Fear of being vulnerable. Look, we all know what it feels like to have a heart broken, right?
Yeah.
I can say that, yeah. Say that.
Right? Right? And so it's really hard to put yourself out there a lot of times.
True.
So it's so much easier to not.
Right.
And if you happen to have been in some bad relationships, sometimes we internalize that piece of, he told me I'm lousy, so therefore I am.
Dang.
Oh.
But you could probably find 20 other people who would say, you are amazing, you're wonderful, anybody would be happy to be with you. But somehow we want to believe the one person who didn't like us.
That's true.
True.
Whenever I'm feeling down about myself, I think about the old Japanese legend where it says that your face is the face of the person that you loved most in your past life. So not even necessarily like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but it could be like a family member. It could be like a grandma that you loved a lot. So just like think about that as a little confidence boost. But I have a question for you, Dr. Laura.
Sure.
We were talking about roses and thorns. Do you know what a rose and thorn of the day is?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what about, do you have any, what's your rose and what's your thorn of the day?
Let's see. So my rose today was helping somebody who have been trying to get into treatment, solid treatment for 10 years, and she finally did it.
Good for her.
So that was my rose. And my thorn for today was, man, just running out of time.
Okay. I mean, I was waiting, anticipating on like your thorn because like I thought you kind of reached a roadblock but it's just I'm sorry. I mean, I must have been thinking like, you know, but I have to say, Dr. Laura, I mean, it's been nice talking to you, but what led you from being a one-on-one doctor to being a speaker? Like, what led you out of an office to say, I want to be a public speaker or a motivational speaker?
I think it was a couple of things. Number one, it was the realization that, hey, I could do this. I saw other people doing it, and I said, why am I not doing this? I like this. I enjoy it. There's nobody holding me back except me, right? Mm-hmm. So I was my own worst enemy in that. And I realized that while one-on-one was really satisfying, you can reach more people when you can talk to a group. And there's really something about the energy of the interaction, like feeling what other people are going through, almost seeing their aha moments. And just the creativity that I get from other people. Like when you guys ask me questions and stuff, I'm like, oh, that blows my mind. That's like a different way to think about it. Sure. And that's what it's all about. That's the magic of the interaction.
Mm-hmm. So I have a quick question about the topic of mental health. Why do you think that we have finally begun to talk about mental health now in 2021? And why do you believe it is such an important topic to talk about?
I think this is super important because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? Mm-hmm. So I think COVID really brought it to the surface that it then became socially acceptable for everybody to have anxiety and depression, but we just were able to say, oh, it's because of COVID, right? And we knew that everybody was experiencing the same thing, so there was no judgment. Now, looking at it, there were probably people who were experiencing depression and anxiety for years before COVID. But if that gets them into treatment, I'm okay with that.
That's true.
Well, I have to say, like, it's been a joy talking to you, Dr. Laura, and I have to touch. Why do I keep saying touch upon? But I have to say, like, you know, for one of your books, which of one of the three books people should really go out to actually read for mental health awareness? Because I want to know, because I want to actually buy one myself. Yeah, I think
the book that really is speaking to people right now is my Wisdom from the Universe book. And I think it's because people really are looking for some inspiration right now, some guidance, and they're also looking to reflect on themselves and sort of see how every day, every experience has been for them. So the fact about this book is you do have the page where you can journal next to the inspirational quote, so you can take what you're reading and apply it to yourself.
And also, can we get the information on where can we get your book?
Absolutely. You can go to my website at www.lauraellick.com. Definitely follow me at Instagram at dr.lauraellick. Send me a message. I'll get my books out to you. You can find them on amazon.com as well. And I'm coming on the book tour now. I'm coming on the speaking tour.
We will definitely be there.
Yeah. I have to say, sorry for cutting you guys off. I kind of jumped over one of my biggest hurdles today. So thank you for being a part of Tell Us Your Biz, Bianca and Miss Laura.
Thanks for having us.
It's my pleasure. Trust me, you guys were great company. And until the next time on Tell Us Your Biz,
keep it fresh.
I didn't have a tagline. I'm so sorry.
Aware of your mental
Keep
health.
aware of your mental health, and please contact Dr. Laura.
If you need any help.
Of course.
Peace and love, guys.
All right.
Peace and love.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production.